y'all, it's Cass. Today I wanted to talk about how I cope with IBD. So, the first thing I do is read self-help books. One of my favorites is called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, and she talks about vulnerability in all of its aspects. And whenever you're feeling sick, that's definitely a time whenever you're feeling vulnerable. It's something you can resist, or it's something you can tap into and find deeper meaning. And that's really what the book is all about. She talks about how vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Also, creativity is a great way to cope with pain, whether it's emotional or physical. It's something that I've done through the years. I became a songwriter when I had my first ostomy, and it's something that I've kept up ever since. So another book that I really like is called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, and it's kind of just proverbs. The language is worded a little strange, but if you can get into it, it's really helpful to me. It talks about everything. It talks about love, giving, eating, joy, sorrow, pain, pleasure, beauty, marriage, everything. So another thing that I like to do is journal. It's kind of cool to do it just because you can look back in any day in time and be like, oh, this is what I was doing then. Which sometimes it's like, oh, I feel terrible today because my intestines are killing me. And some days it's like, oh, well, I actually feel great. Like I said, it's all interrelated. So there was another self-help book that I read called The Artist's Way. And it tells you, it's called Morning Pages. So you journal for 15 minutes every morning when you first wake up for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, you go back and read everything that you wrote. And whatever problem you were having, the answer is right there. It was already within you. It's empowering too to know that really everything you need to know to cope and all of your strength is already inside you. You just have to find the ways to let it out. A good way to kind of keep yourself focused is to journal when you exercise and what you eat. And there's some great apps for that now. I use Map My Walk and MyFitnessPal. I use Map My Walk because I have a dog and I like to walk her, and I know that she needs to exercise, and so do I. So that's really helpful. And just having a dog is another great way to cope with having IBD. When I got my ostomy, like a couple months later, I got a dog, and I was able to focus my attention onto her. I do yoga, that is, stretching, and there's also the spiritual aspect of it where it takes you inside yourself, and that's really the most important part of coping, is to look at things objectively and not let yourself get too overwhelmed with what's going on. So it's good to just look inside yourself and find that inner peace. I've heard that martial arts change your whole perspective. It's not just exercise, even though you are getting exercise, but it's also giving you a skill where you can protect yourself, and it's something that gives you confidence. If you thought about learning a new language, that is something that I'm doing right now. I'm taking it at ACC, and I'm trying to do it really intensively, and I'm also going to Costa Rica this summer to study abroad for a couple weeks, and it's just giving me something to look forward to. It's taken my mind off of everything that has to do with IBD and has put it onto something that's going to be really fulfilling and can change my life. Learning a new language gives you more access to more people in the world, and you never know what I might be able to do. I could start advocating in Spanish. Which brings me to my next point. Advocate. It will help you so much, and you know what? It'll help everyone else too. People call this the secret disease because people don't like to talk about going to the bathroom, and you can't tell on the outside that you have it. But whenever you tell more people and are involved in the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, you can have that empowerment and empower other people to let everyone else in the world know. And you're always around people who either have the disease you have been through a lot of similar things that you've been through, or know someone very close to them who's been through it. So it's really nice just to have that camaraderie with people who understand you on that level. So I volunteer in the community with the Austin Mission Committee. I do Power of Two. It's a new program. It's only been around a couple of years, but you should check into that. You can find it on the CCFA website under your support groups page. So that's another thing, support groups. I volunteer at Camp Oasis. I'm a counselor. You take steps. It's a walk. It's usually really short. You get a whole team together and you all work together to raise money for CCFA, and it's the biggest fundraiser for CCFA, and CCFA is the biggest researcher for Crohn's and colitis. So if you're doing this, you could be paying money for a cure that could be around in the next decade. And you're not just meeting people, but you're feeling empowered yourself. And it's great whenever you can take things into your own hands and work for it. And be a part of something that matters. Also, just take your medicine and go to the doctor, and if they tell you you need to have a procedure done or a test run or try new medicine, do it, because it's going to help you in the long run. And the longer you wait about getting yourself seen out, the worse it's going to get, and then the worse the treatment is going to have to be to fix you in the end. Those are my tips for dealing with IBD, and I hope these have empowered you. If you have other ways that you like to deal with your IBD or with any other disease or anything in your life, I would love to see it. So I hope you have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye!